After days of searching, the body of a 12-year-old girl lost in Shoal Creek is found. How 4-staters are honoring fallen heroes on this Memorial Day. The 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Massacre raises questions about compensating surviving victims and their descendants.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
After days of searching, authorities find the body of a 12-year-old girl who was swept up in the waters of Shoal Creek. And the man who tried to save her is reportedly fighting for his life. This is KOAM News at 10. Authorities say a recovery team found the body of Kaylin Brown yesterday evening about 3 miles downstream from Lime Kiln Park. The girl was swept away by rushing water last Wednesday after getting caught up in the hydraulic current below the dam. Rescue crews had to suspend the search on Thursday and Friday because of severe storms and rising water. A man named Trevor Hicks went into the rushing water to try to save Brown Wednesday. He was hospitalized and now, according to a GoFundMe page set up to support the family, is on life support. Deidre Walker set up that GoFundMe. Walker is a close family friend who is caring for Hicks's son.
They realized Kaylin was still in his arms, but due to how far out they were, they didn't have a chance to reach her before she was swept away again. Yeah, so he never let go of that little girl. He fought with his last breath to save her life.
You can find a link to the GoFundMe on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. Checking in with Nick Kelly now, getting a bit more rain, Nick.
Even though it was nice that we kept things dry this weekend, Al, and to start Memorial Day out right on cue, as you said, the rain chances marched right back in, and seeing some more rain work in on top of 7th and Rangeline in Joplin. Now, 67 was the best we could do for highs today after we started in the mid-50s. We don't need any more rain in some spots, and certainly for areas that are under flood watches. Northeast Oklahoma and northwest Arkansas until Tuesday morning. Wednesday morning for Berry, McDonald, and Newton counties, not just because of this batch of light to moderate rain working through mainly the southern half of the viewing area, but more rain developing out in northeastern Oklahoma, and still the extra few rounds to come with our main upper system still spinning in southern Colorado. Right now, most of us are sitting right around 60 degrees, a few upper 50s popping up, but everyone's going to drop back to about 57 degrees in the morning. I think our rain chances are best during the morning, then we'll keep scattered showers in for the afternoon, but temperatures struggling with highs only in the mid-60s. We'll see if we can dry out soon and warm up soon here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thanks. Memorial Day, we honor those who've served our nation, but some who served haven't received the recognition they deserve. The American Legion Post 13, in conjunction with Mount Hope Cemetery in Webb City, hosted a ceremony to remember soldiers who had ties to Jasper County. They honored the unclaimed cremains of 3 veterans. Officials with the cemetery say they're glad to be able to give them a final resting place.
Well, I just feel that it's our duty to make sure that they're taken care of for the sacrifice they made for us, and to have them in a final resting place with their fellow soldiers here in our veterans area, surrounded by other vets for their final resting place.
Cemetery officials say in the future they hope to build a fallen but not forgotten monument for soldiers like the ones honored today.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Pitt State once again went virtual with its Memorial Day program. It was recorded and is available for viewing at any time on the university's YouTube and Vimeo channels. The featured keynote speaker is retired Colonel Donald Woolfolk, a native of Pratt, Kansas, who is now in his 13th year as the Deputy Director of Intelligence Navy Special Warfare Command. The ceremony goes into the history of Memorial Day after the Civil War. The GAR Cemetery in Miami, Oklahoma today hosted an in-person event, but social distancing was encouraged. That event was open to the public and, of course, local veterans organizations. The number of those organizations that attend is growing each year. This year's guest speaker was Ben Loring. Loring is a former district attorney, Oklahoma State representative, and current Miami City attorney. His sons, David and Ian, served in the U.S. Army. This Memorial Day was a step back into normalcy, a far cry from last year when the pandemic was raging in the U.S. Most states have relaxed coronavirus restrictions as cases decrease. Femi Redwood has more on the day's events across our country.
Veterans were showered with applause in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Few wore masks in the crowd. It was the same in Bensalem, aside from this marching band. Pennsylvania was one of a dozen states in the nation where coronavirus regulations remained, but nearly all of the rules lifted there on Memorial Day, a relief for businesses like the City Line Diner in Harrisburg.
A lot of our customers are regular customers, and they've really kept us open through the time we were closed.
Despite the holiday, coronavirus vaccinations continued in New York City at a mobile clinic.
Everything on here we would have in a regular vaccination location, except this is on wheels.
Kamori Jameson was the first person in line.
When the vaccine first came out, I was like a little sketchy about it. I was like, it was too soon. But then I was just like, just do it. Because my grandmother had got the vaccine. So after she had got it, I was like, I could get it.
Increasing vaccinations have led to a boom in travel.
We're just kind of taking a day off, spend time with family.
I think it's a bigger crowd. I'm not sure if it's because of the heat, the sun that's bringing people out. Or if it's after like the pandemic that people are wanting to come out.
The TSA says it screened more than 7 million passengers since Thursday. Femi Redwood, CBS News, New York.
New daily COVID cases are now under 13,000 nationwide, the lowest in more than a year. Missouri Governor Mike Parson today granted 36 pardons. The governor's office is not releasing the names of who was pardoned. Officials say that's due to privacy concerns. They say they want to inform family members first. Still ahead, the 100th anniversary of the Tulsa Race Massacre reignites a push to compensate surviving victims and their descendants.
It divides the community on something that we really need to be united around.
Victims of this atrocity have been denied justice for far too long.
We'll have more on the debate and see how Tulsans are honoring the victims.
AOAMNewsNow.com/outlaw.
On this day in 1921, the most preeminent black community in the history of the United States was destroyed in a brutal attack. Tulsa, Oklahoma's Greenwood neighborhood, also known as Black Wall Street, was home to more than 10,000 black Tulsans and hundreds of businesses. As many as 300 residents were killed in the massacre. Today, the Tulsa Community Remembrance Coalition, in partnership with the Equal Justice Initiative, held its final soil collection to honor the remaining unknown victims of the massacre 100 years to the day after it began. Viola Fletcher, the oldest living survivor of the massacre, and Hughes Van Ellis, Fletcher's younger brother who was an infant during the massacre, attended the ceremony. Each soil collection serves to memorialize the life of a 1921 Tulsa massacre victim.
They are symbolic of those whose deaths we know, and they are symbolic of those whose deaths we only know because we understand the gravity of the violence that happened.
Black Wall Street's history is expressed through art throughout the Greenwood community. Chris Skur Rogers is the project manager and mural artist for several projects in the Greenwood community. He hired an artist based in Kansas City to create this Black Wall Street mural. Rogers says each letter tells a significant part of Black Wall Street's history.
For example, the W, we've got a 1920s automobile here, and on the grill we've got the dollar sign because we know this was Black Wall Street. You know, it's titled Black Wall Street because of the financial success of the district.
Rogers says the murals represent cultural tourism. President Biden today released a proclamation for a day of remembrance to mark what happened 100 years ago at Black Wall Street. Reporter Abby Phillips has a look at what's being done to compensate the few remaining survivors of the massacre and the victims' descendants.
How long would you wait for your justice, right?
Leslie Benningfield Randall, Hughes Van Ellis, Viola Ford Fletcher. These are the last 3 known survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre.
I will never forget the violence of the white mob when we left our home. I am a 107-year-old and have never seen justice. I pray that one day I will.
For decades, massacre victims and their descendants have called for reparations. But now, with Democrats in power in Washington, the issue is being seriously debated and studied.
The victims of this atrocity have been denied justice for far too long.
There's only one reason why descendants of the Tulsa massacre have not been compensated, and that reason is racism.
Today, this mural and half a city block are all that is left of Greenwood, also known as Black Wall Street. 100 years ago, it was a vibrant city within a city where Black businesses, entrepreneurs, art, and culture thrived. In 18 hours, it was destroyed and burned to the ground by a racist mob. Historians believe as many as 300 Black residents were killed.
What do reparations mean to you?
Well, reparations, what it means, the root word is to repair. We must have financial compensation to those who suffered the massacre.
With the eyes of the world now trained on Tulsa, attorney Demario Solomon Simmons is fighting back, suing the city for restitution and calling for the Massacre Centennial Commission to give back to the victims some of what has been raised.
Now people are really starting to understand, what happened in Tulsa and the magnitude of the devastation and destruction.
Today, white-owned businesses and corporations are rapidly developing land in Greenwood as Black businesses see their presence dwindling through gentrification. Across the country, reparations have taken different forms. In Evanston, Illinois, the city will distribute $10 million to Black residents as reparations for discriminatory policies from the 1920s to the late 60s. And in California, the state may return millions in beachfront property taken from a Black family in the 1920s. But here in Tulsa, there has been far more resistance from elected officials, including the mayor, G.T. Bynum.
Getting into trying to make cash payments to people, it divides the community on something that we really need to be united around.
I disagree. And again, what is divisive is when we're not willing to talk about the truth, when we're not willing to talk about the harm done. What I am saying is, even as a descendant, let's take care of the survivors right now that are in our face. And let's take care of them.
Tulsa Mayor Bynum says reparations would be funded by taxpayers and that, quote, you would be financially penalizing this generation of Tulsans for something criminals did 100 years ago. President Biden will be in Tulsa to pay his respects tomorrow, the same day the city plans to start digging in an area that could contain a mass grave of victims from that massacre. Later, college club baseball players from all across the country are in Pittsburgh for the Ncba World Series. We're going to find out what they think of the city.
Plus, rain chances continue tonight and for the next few days. We'll focus on that and the rest of the forecast up next.
Catch a racy.
Even though Mother Nature was kind enough for us to stay dry for much of this weekend and to start this Memorial Day out, we unfortunately have the rain chances come rolling back in late this afternoon, certainly this evening. We can see, though, a quiet start to the day from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. But the rain chances are back in, and for some of you, it's probably the last thing you need, especially if you're under the flood watch in Craig, Ottawa, Delaware, and Benton counties until 10 o'clock Tuesday morning, and for Barry, McDonald, and Newton counties until 7 o'clock Wednesday morning. All because, once again, rain chances sneaking their way back in. Again, we started out mainly on the quiet side this morning, but once we hit the late afternoon, all that moisture we had out west started rolling on in. Nothing too terribly heavy at the moment on the closer look at the radar, but we do have some embedded pockets of light to almost moderate rainfall, especially around Girard, Arma, Frontenac, Franklin, down to about Weir, Scammon, and Columbus. Mainly light rain in northeastern Oklahoma. Then we shift over to the Missouri side where, light rain around Stockton Lake, Greenfield, and then picking back up as you work closer to the Joplin metro where we can actually take you outside. Rain, definitely have that in present at 7th and Range Line. Currently, we are at 60 in Joplin, east breeze at 3 with that humidity, no doubt, high at 90%, allowing that rain to come on down. Temperatures for most of you right around 60 right now, but we're seeing a few more upper 50s trying to pop up on the board, and that's where we're going to bottom out. So not much of a drop off in temperatures from here on out as we continue with our rain chances for some overnight and plenty of cloud cover too. At least we're not dealing with any of those nasty storms down south in Texas. That's staying along our frontal boundary that pushed through back on Thursday. However, in the upper levels, this upper level low, it was stuck in the desert southwest to start the weekend out. Now it's finally working across eastern Colorado, but as long as this slowly moves along over the next 2 days, that is what's going to keep rain chances in the forecast, at least for some of you. Here's a good job of the future track picking up on the rain right now, and we're still expecting this to continue through the overnight and possibly intensify to maybe heavy rainfall, but not looking at a big setup for any thunderstorms, so we don't have to worry about that as we go into our Tuesday morning with lows in the upper 50s. But as long as some scattered rain chances stick around throughout the day tomorrow, and we stick with plenty of cloud cover, it's another day where temperatures, they're going to struggle. 57 in the morning, 63 by noon, only making it to 66 for a good number of you for the afternoon tomorrow. We'll hold on to some scattered rain chances tomorrow night through Wednesday morning, and maybe with a little more warmth as highs go back into the 70s, maybe some scattered storms, but again, nothing severe by Wednesday. In terms of additional rain between now and Wednesday afternoon, not a lot for our northern counties, maybe a quarter of an inch tops, but once you hop south of I-44, maybe 1 to 2 inches of additional rain. That's why those flood watches are out. But this system by Thursday, it's out of here. I think we're dry Thursday and Friday, and definitely warmer too, before another low forming over Texas starts to bring moisture back into the forecast with scattered storms Saturday through early next week. But temperatures, they're surprisingly okay. At least they'll head in the right direction. 66 tomorrow, 73 Wednesday, back near 80 on Thursday, then lower 80s to take us through the coming weekend now.
Closer to what we should expect for this time of year.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, stay ahead of the storms with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get up-to-date severe weather updates in the palm of your hand. Doesn't cost anything. You can find it in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. KOAM Skywatch weather app. Coming up in sports, the Crowder College baseball team aims to stay alive in the JUCO World Series. Plus, teams travel from hundreds, in some cases thousands of miles to Pittsburgh for a chance at a baseball national championship. Jacob Leonard has details next.
The Crowder College Rough Riders are still alive at the JUCO World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado. On Sunday, they avoided elimination, beating Florence Darlington 9-8. Now today, face elimination once again, this time on the field against Walters State. Crowder does it again, winning big today, 14-6. 5 different guys hit a home run today for the Rough Riders. The Crowder stays alive, play again tomorrow afternoon. The Ncba World Series is in Pittsburgh this week. It brings in the best collegiate club baseball teams from all across the country, literally. The Final Four features East Carolina, Oregon, Virginia Tech, and Iowa State. And we caught up with some of the players to talk about coming from hundreds, sometimes even thousands of miles away, to Pittsburgh, Kansas in search of a national title.
My name's Sam Cole. I play shortstop and I'm the president for the Iowa State baseball team.
I'm Robbie Sleesher. I play first base for the University of Oregon.
Jonathan Spalding. I am a shortstop and I play for Virginia Tech.
My name is Michael Crumpler. I play left field for ECU. We took a road trip across the country in a bus. It took us 2 days to get here. We saw some pretty cool things. It was the farthest west I've been.
I'm not accustomed to the Midwest very much. You know, I'm Virginia, there's mountains, beaches, stuff like that. So when I came through, I was like, man, this place is flat.
The city is really beautiful, honestly. The people are very nice and it's been a great experience.
The first thing I noticed was, I was like, man, there's gorillas everywhere, dude. And I thought that was awesome because, you know, being at Virginia Tech, we got the Hokie birds, and they're just everywhere. And people come in and they're like, why do you have it everywhere? You know, it's just a pride thing. So I love that we're in a town that, like, has so much pride behind the team. So I think that's cool.
We're staying at the Hampton that's connected to the casino.
If he doesn't score, we have to heist the casino. We have to steal like a bunch of money.
Everyone sees our jerseys, see our hats, and they're like, oh, why are you here from Iowa? Or I'm sure the other teams, like Oregon's far away too.
We've definitely had a lot of people come up to us asking us why we're in Pittsburgh.
Went to the deli over at the mall. It was great. Those sandwiches were good, and the crackers and whatever dressing they had for the crackers was good. We got some to bring home. It would mean a lot to me and everybody here on this team. I mean, most of us have been working 3 or 4 years strong for this opportunity, and you know, we feel like we put in the work, and we're very close to bringing it home.
But we have a lot of guys that couldn't make it here, unfortunately, due to work, and they've been watching everything they can and rooting us on. So doing it for some of those boys that didn't get to make it out would just, you might see a tear roll down my face here.
And the Ncba National Championship game will be on Wednesday night at 7 at Pittsburgh State. Both the Kansas City Royals and St. Louis Cardinals are in action tonight. The Royals are back home this evening for a quick 2-game set against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, these two teams split a pair of games earlier this season. Tonight's game just about over. Royals lead at 7-3 in the top of the 9th. As for the Cardinals, they take their 5-game winning streak to LA to face the Dodgers. That one is in the bottom of the 6th, all tied up at 3. And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Celebrate the Outlaw.
Take time now to honor a local veteran. David Sivert served in the U.S. Air Force, his hometown, Walnut, Kansas. And we are proud to salute David Sivert. He's tonight's 4-state hero. We honor heroes not just on Memorial Day, but every single day of the year, and we're always looking for more. If you know of a veteran or currently serving service member, let us know about this person. We'd like to put them on air. Just drop us a line. The website, koamnewsnow.com. Click on the link. Checking back with Nick Kelly. Boy, it's still raining out there, Nick.
And this will continue through the overnight for some and into tomorrow as well. With that and cloud cover, it's mid-60s. That's the best we can do for highs tomorrow, but back to 73 Wednesday. Drier Thursday and Friday with highs eventually and finally pushing back near 80.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.